Today I'm talking about autism and Christmas. Well, more specifically, Christmas trees. Our family has a complicated history with Christmas trees. In the beginning we had them, and then for a while we didn't. And that was because Maggie was a Christmas tree knocker over when she was little. And it was just really hard to keep a Christmas tree standing when she was determined to bring it down so she could go after the ornaments. When we moved from Florida to Michigan, when Paul transferred law schools after his first year, we decided that we were going to leave behind getting a Christmas tree, and we just got each of the kids a little tiny Christmas tree with little decorations, and we kept them up on our mantle. And really, Patrick and Maggie were too little to really decorate them at that point. Patrick was a newborn at this point, Maggie was 2, so Sadie decorated them. Sadie was 4 and she was really into it. That's what we did for a few years. I think Patrick's Christmas tree was blue, Sadie's was pink, and Maggie's was purple. Or maybe it was the other way around. I can't remember at this point. Anyways, so we used the little tiny like tinfoil, like $5 Christmas trees from Meijer for a few years, and that worked out. And then Maggie got a little bit older, and before we moved into this house, so before Tessie was born, I finally did a thing where I took our old TV stand, which was about 3 feet off the ground, and I bolted a Christmas tree stand onto it, and we got a little Christmas tree and put, I mean not little, but like a 3-foot Christmas tree, and we put the Christmas tree on that and bolted the Christmas tree onto the stand. And that worked. Maggie really enjoyed it, but it was up high enough that she couldn't really mess very much with the Christmas tree ornaments. That was a good start for having an actual Christmas tree. So we used that until we moved into this house. When we moved into this house, what we decided to do for our first Christmas, which would be the Christmas after Tessie was born, so Tessie was 6 months old, James was 2, Patrick was 4, Maggie was 6, and Sadie was 8. We got our first Christmas tree since Maggie was a toddler. What we decided to do was we got a Christmas tree stand and we drilled it into the floor in the living room and then screwed that into the Christmas tree, and it actually worked. I mean, Tessie was too small to mess with it. The boys were always good with Christmas trees. They didn't mess with it. We just put sturdy ornaments on it. Well, there were ornament fatalities. It worked. I mean, I think that basically any mermaid ornament that went on the tree was basically loved to death, but other than that, it was fine. We didn't put any delicate ornaments on the tree that year. And then the year after that, we just put the glass ornaments. It went so well that we just put the glass ornaments near the top of the tree and actually started taking out some of our nice ornaments and just put the sturdier ones on the bottom half of the tree. And then last year came around. Tessie was 3, and I was feeling pretty confident. We went out, we got our big Christmas tree at the Christmas tree place we always go to every year. You go on these horse-drawn carriages and do a different part of their tree farm. Each part has different types of trees, and you find the tree you want, and then you ride on the horse-drawn carriages back. And so last year, we got the tree, and we bolted it down, and we decorated it, and everything was going really well. And we did the same thing. We put the glass ornaments on the top, and I was getting really brave. I was putting like all the ornaments that I'd never put out before up high. We went and got this glass star the year before, and we finally put that on the tree. Oh, I was feeling daring. And then, I guess last year, we didn't yet realize that Tessie was a super climber. I may not have said this earlier. If you're new here, I'm autistic, my husband's autistic, our kids are autistic. Maggie used to be a super climber, and I thought that Maggie was like the climber of all climbers. I thought that she had frightened me as much as you could be frightened by a climber, because she really was a climber. Like when she was like 3, she was climbing the bricks up the side of our house. She gave me quite a few scares, but really her climbing was nothing compared to Tessie. Tessie will be scaling the roof of our little playhouse out there. Tessie will be climbing out the outside of the banister. Tessie will be climbing up the windows, up to the windows of our house. Tessie regularly gives me mini heart attacks when I will turn around and she is climbing up something very tall that she should not be climbing up. One minute I turn around and Tessie is beside me, and the next minute I turn around and Tessie is on top of something very high. She is very good at climbing, and she is never climbed, she has never fallen. The reason we took down the triple bunk bed was because she got a great deal of joy out of jumping off of it, and it was like 70 something inches tall, and she would just climb up and jump. Then what she also liked to do was get all of the top and middle mattresses and put them at the very bottom and stand on top of the planks from the top one and jump straight down in between the planks to land on the bottom one. And that was kind of scary because there would be planks in the middle and planks at the top of the triple one, and she liked to just go plummet straight down between them. And that was just, I mean, not safe, but also just terrifying to see. You like walk out and there she'd be and like look at you and just plummet straight down. She just loves to climb. She loves to jump. She definitely has that like proprioceptive seeking thing to drive her mother insane. I am proud of her climbing abilities and how good she is at it, but I just wish we could. After college, I worked at a rock climbing gym, actually, when Paul and I first started dating, and we do not have one in our area, and I really wish we did so we could channel all of this into something. All of her doctors and therapists have suggested gymnastics, but in the middle of this whole worldwide pandemic, it's not really a possibility right now. I just wish there was a way we could channel this at the moment appropriately into good. Anyways, so there's a point. There really is a point, I promise. The way I guess we first really discovered this last year was when Tessie climbed up to the top of our Christmas tree to retrieve the star and throw it down so that she could play with it, along with many of the shiny, very breakable ornaments, because Tessie loved last year, less so this year. She hasn't done it lately, mostly because she hasn't had the opportunity, because now our chandelier is up very high. Tessie loves the sound that glass makes when it's breaking. We tried YouTube videos of breaking glass and it's not the same. She didn't even turn her head, but she had this thing right around Christmas time last year where she would unscrew the bulbs on our chandelier and throw them on the ground just to hear them break. And she was doing it with ornaments too. She'd go up and get all the glass ornaments, but it was only like the clear glass bulbs of the LED bulbs in our chandelier, or the very delicate glass ornaments. It wasn't the like cloudy glass bulbs that were in the other fixtures. Like I saw her get one out before I could get to her, and she was like tapping the other glass, and the like cloudy glass ones that we had in other light fixtures, and she stopped because she didn't like how those sounded. It was just the clear glass ones that were in like our chandelier. Edison bulbs. It was the Edison bulbs. That's what they're called. We had these, I think they're LED Edison bulbs, and she liked how those sounded. Anyways, so she was literally climbing our bolted down tree up to the top. And I mean, it was a tall tree. We have tall ceilings in the ground floor of our house to get the high ornaments down so she could break them. So anyways, that brings me to this year. And I ended up taking the tree down on the 26th, which usually we leave it up at least through Epiphany. I just couldn't take it anymore with her climbing. I barely made it through Christmas with the tree because I was just losing it. And by the end, I think we started with like 4 tubs of Christmas ornaments, and we had like 2 left by the end. It was bad. So fast forward to this year. The other day, Paul, as we're getting ready to go to bed, goes, "So what are we gonna do about the tree this year?" And I said, "We have to have a tree." And I said, "Remember, we bolted down." And he was like quiet. He was quiet for a minute, and he goes, "Do you remember last year?" And I was like, "What about last year?" Thinking he was just being a party pooper and being difficult. And then he goes, "Last year, Tessie, last year." Like I must have blocked it out somehow. Last year. How could I forget last year climbing the tree? When she did the actual climbing to the top of the tree, what had happened was I did this like twice weekly of Maggie's room when the kids were at school and Tessie was the only one who was home with me. And I was upstairs cleaning her room, and usually Tessie came with me, and so I said, "Tessie, let's go clean Maggie's room." And I was upstairs in Maggie's room, and all of a sudden I realized that she wasn't there. Before I went downstairs, my dad was coming over to help me with something in Maggie's room, like I can't remember, put like something for the swing in or something like that. And he all of a sudden started texting me pictures because he was about to get her down, because he'd come in and she was in the tree while I was waiting for her to come upstairs with me, because she always followed me upstairs when I was cleaning Maggie's room on Fridays, which was her day off from school. in that moment I remembered what he was talking about, Tessie climbing the tree. It wasn't just breaking ornaments, it wasn't just knocking over the tree that we could bolt to the floor. He was talking about Tessie climbing the tree to the top. And that's when I realized he was right. And so we started talking about what we're going to do this year, whether the Christmas tree should be in the back, on the back porch. Maggie's needs some vocal stim, you can probably hear, sorry. And that's when I started thinking about whether the Christmas tree should be in the backyard, on the back porch, or on the front porch. And Sadie and I went and we bought some unbreakable bulbs. She picked white and blue. Hopefully no one steals our tree. Our tree, I think, is going to be outside this year. Until she stops climbing everything that she sees. She's a way better climber than she was last year. She's a way faster climber than she was last year. And I mean, I can't have her climbing the tree every 5 minutes while I'm like in the little schoolroom in the back doing school with the boys. And that, I'm afraid, is what would happen if we put that tree up out there right now. She would be on that thing every minute trying to get to the top. That child. So that is what is going on with our Christmas tree. We'll have a Christmas tree, but it will be outside. Oh, and our little Christmas town that I love so much, I think I'm gonna clear off some shelves in our room, because usually our Christmas town is where our little school area is this year. And I love our Christmas town, and there's no way I'm skipping out on doing that. And so I'm gonna have to make some adjustments to that, maybe put it up in our room. We'll see. I need to find a place for that, because that's one of my favorite Christmas things too. Anyways, so Christmas decorations coming, just not yet, because I'm not that organized. Oh, Megs. Anyways, that is it for today. That is my really long Christmas tree story. If you like this video, we'd love it if you'd give it a thumbs up. And if you're interested in all things autism, we'd love it if you'd hit subscribe, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.